Satati Sefo Waragasa
Aribone Ibata pasa Jupiter sabe Romela Cabotella con la coti Joder, corre pa Swentlekile
Atsantsang ka ba di ragaditse bontle bona gape jalo ba tlhasela yona super sport a ba ralala banna a le nosi ba le letsome a ba takwele ka the lokuyadlala karabo kekana simthembile asibona uzokuthini simthembile ulifaka phambili ufuna Tebugo beast asibona ke manje Tebugo beast sakja sisefo wala kasha
Momnandi, Umnandi, Maiguwe, Iguwe, welcome back to it. It's that time of the week once again where we speak all things development football, the future of the game. And boy, does the future look bright after we covered the Under-15 festival yesterday. That's the talking point and the emphasis then of this particular show. That division, they'll be hosting their talent development schemes in the coming weeks. And so with the guys we've brought through a bit of a juxtaposition, if you'd like to think of it, a coach right at the top of the league and a coach right at the bottom. So stay tuned to find out. But let me introduce you to my panel of Development League experts. Once again, we've got the Setswana duo of Rapeleng Mokhaki and Lebogang Mahume in the house. And then never forget our Zulu man with some power, Sfiso Gutlem Simang. Mamachita, good evening.
Ori, ai, tak thomegan na garo lezo thomagan. Mapetla ori mbraya.
Ori ya sarela yo. Tigna na ko sarela video la mapetla.
Mapetla jan, ikamala argi nickname ya faya diski. Wa bola mawana tsare na mapitsa mapetla. Anga kalugo.
Kitsamikile bolos ke la nyatsa bafana ba ke blind.
Mapetla shogo. No guys, let's get right into it. Under-15 festival hosted yesterday. All of the games, every single Under-15 team out in the east at the Foslora Stadium. 2 fields, double the fun, and boy, did the first game excite. A battle of the institutions. And Sfiso, I don't know, man, what's up? Every time you do the Vich Juniors, you seem to get a crazy goal. Of 70 sound,
mina bachita bami laba lezi ntwana indana zami ngiyayitshela nigibele ngiyayitshela nikore manje ziyangiza mase ngicommentate bese ishama goal agre ingizwi ngale uyibonile yakho la le ntwana hayi lande mara lebzo uthola igole li grand
ya ntsala ke ke utlile ntlo la ka le setsi trendlekile ntsala ke it's my new signature le utlile mabana ka jalo itsetso go force lo voice ntwana ka mara ke tla ela tabe ke tlang vi.
Before we get talking points, betha ngitshela ama results ambe kanjani?
Yeah, asibangene. Alright, asikubingelele futhi sikwamukele football on 216 asikubhekele ke ukuthi kwenzakaleni eKaslami eKatoras ibize kanjalo lapho sibona khona umdlalo wokuqala UP Taxi ke lapho ekore khona amagoli amabili yaya half time yabuya iVets Junior 3-2 lo mdlalo uwine yona ke Vets Junior SSU uwine ke lapha nePapadisa iJoburg City ngo 3-1 sihamba sawubona ke Mamelodi Sundowns lapho ke Papadisa Remember Elite Sports Academy ngo 4-1 sibona ke lapha na Highlands Park neTS Galaxy lo mdlalo bungekho grand not ke lapho sihamba sawubona umdlalo wokugcina amakhosi for life Kaizer Chiefs okuyilapho ke ewine khona ngo 2-1 second wede Shwendlekile
Hey, No guys, let's get right into it. Tux leading the game 2-0. No one expects Vits to come around and win it, Lebu.
Sfiso ha simolla o buile gore Tax enile ko Netherlands. So ne ra kantse gore ba go tla ka maitebegela gore ba go tshameka re bone ba tshamekile ka mogomolo ra ba tloela ntse la ke ba isimola ko morago ba ineletsana fela Vets Junior Sfiso a bua gape ra ba re mo second half ba tlo go na le confidence ka gona setlhopha o se leader ntse la kene wa ba tlogela ba gaina confidence ke serious bone mabane ba bua ko morago ba no sa no tharo ntse la go tsepedi tsa UP Tax.
So Tux had traveled to the Netherlands to play in some international tournament there. Was it a better Tux team as opposed to what we saw in round 1?
Yeah, ngize ngasho na commentator ukuthi yabona iUP Tax khona into ehlanganisa iyapheka sebe relaxile manje abasatatazeli mfethu lento ayishoyo uLebza ikora amagoli ayi2 salindela ukuthi hayi mayibuzo shaya amanye ayi2 lento ayishoyo ke ukuthi i-team mawuyidla ayisekho into ezoyiluza so wena mawuwina ukumele uqinise kakhulu because le team ayisenayo into ezoyiluza iya attack khasha amagoli 3-2 yabona but into engishoyo UP Tax kumele sibele kubeyithumela le phesheya sidlala kamnandi kakhulu lapha nentwana evimbayo lapha ngizwile ngathi ibuya kuMamelodi Sundowns or le Vets Juniors ibuya kuMamelodi Sundowns but nje imnandi kakhulu
mara ke nagana hore motshameko le ne ke o lebeletse le lona Taimane second half ga tsana mo motshamekong o ira havoc go ntsi thata na sa thibege
yeah
kunegama ofuna ukulisho
no qolani ke x ke
kunegama ofuna ukulisho
ke levin le
khonza
is number 41
just number 41 bayithathavile
blind.
ngibengiqala ukuyibona iblind yiyo le ebilokhu ithena lapha mfethu Thando.
Yeah, so we see a better Tugs, we see a better Wits. That's what we want for development football improvements, and definitely there was for both teams. We move on with the games. SuperSport United versus Joburg City. United versus City. Orapeleng, 3-1 to Masatanta.
Matsatsantsha Pretoria na ba iketsetsa fela o lebeletse ke khatlhegile thata ke bona le ka bona le la ga Faran Valley le simola le motshameko ai se kananyana se morwalo o boima wa bona Faran Valley ga na le mo motshameko mole ne go le monate thata re bone le ene Braith Moffitt re bone ba mo phusheditse ko pelenyana thata ba rata mo simolla yana ko moragonyana mare ke bone the way ana tshameka ka teng le Gold o ntse nno entle thata ngopotsa ntata
With the head, yeah.
The header, yeah, but I think Joburg City na ba leka man le ka bona le la ga Carrera Cristiano le ene Valencia mo gara le bala na ba leka go ikopanya mare bona le sengwe se ne sa tlhakane sentle mo bogareng ba le bala mare fela Matsatsantsa obvious ke file Matsatsantsa last week.
Yeah, before we move over, guys, I really enjoyed this kid. We've watched him a couple of times now. I've enjoyed seeing him. Jesse Gerver. He turns into prime Eden Hazard. 3 players almost beaten on the feet. Bam, bam, bam. He scored. I think Hazard scored a goal like that against West Ham. One of the best goals. He almost replicates that. Jesse.
Ga gona beke le gore re itse SuperSport be ke sa buika ka Jesse Javier le ka pa ka majita gore ke buile ka ena thata gore ile ga na le Ndona mo bogareng ba le bala ene o etsa dirty work donkey work a fe Ndona o kgona create a lebelle motshameko motantabelo wa bophukodwe ke senne Jesse Javier a se dira ga tsena mo di 18.
And then we saw our first goalless draw then. Sfiso says not too exciting of a watch when he gives the results. 0-0 Galaxy and Highlands, guys.
The ethos of the club. La gama fit. I commend the fit. The ethos of the club. Highlands Park and like Apollo Gonos. And about got 2 CDMs. Re bone gore ne ba kwetse mo gare ga mpale ba ra bona nnontsha like ba lekile but ne ke sa itumella motshameko ka gonne ne re batla dinno o no buile Sfiso re gante re tshameka di festival dino ga di nneteng tsala ka jalo ne ke akantse gore maybe ke tla ba tloga ka mo stompong go nusiwa go nusiwa ntela not fela se ke se bone ke gore tshameko e ne le ntle fa se ka ne ba ne le tsana sentle Highlands Park mo gare ga mpale ba ke mo ke bone njalo yone the ethos of the club ntala yeah
I think ungena kwa Matthew George under 15 kuyabonakala ngoba uzokhumbula ukuthi first leg Highlands Park iwinele engakafiki Matthew George ufikile no uyabona I draw into ebalekile kakhulu le ukuyithola kwi team ekanjiyana kunentwana lapha ibiza ngoNizamdini kwi Highlands Park bafethu bilokhu ibambile enye into engibonile njalo ukuthi yes Galaxy Highlands Park into engibonile uLondon Samuels bamqalise ngaphandle ngesikhathi into ngibajwayela umfaka phakathi bamfake second half ezama ayama offside abengakanani
I think he was injured. He did mention to me then before the game started that he's going through a bit of an ankle problem. So I think that's why there. But 0-0, it's a point apiece. It's a fair result. You've got to feel for the type of game that was played. And then we moved on. Title-bound Mamelodi Sundowns. Well, they continue their good run. Score 4 once again against, remember, Elite Sports Academy.
Yo. O itse ne kirile SLK utla feta ka 1-0 ne ke nagana re re sa etla mo fa motshameko popota mara ke bone ka metsotso wa bofelo wa gopola gore gona le fone ntse ke gatella teng ke re Thando e fela ga e fedile SLK ya go ga mutla ka fotlase ga ke pisi ano sa dino di le pedi ka metsotso wa bofelo ya nna gore ba wina ka metshameko ka dino di lene ke itumetse ke bona Habal Gana tsena mo motshamekong a khona go ira goal ya ditseng ke motshameko o popota ga ka gra game time tla bana go le gontsi mo le ka bana le.
Let's chat about something quickly, guys. The goalkeeper in that Sundowns game makes a fatal mistake, but it's one that in goalkeeping you're going to see often because we saw it in our qualifiers now for AFCON when Veli Motwa, same mistake in between the hands, it's a goal. So it happens to young goalkeepers, this phenomenon sometimes.
Go boleletse o ile wa mpotsa ka yona ka re phoso tse di jana di dirwa ke mang le mang ga o tsa o lebella maitemogelo a ga Veli Motwa ke sebaka se se kana ka tshameka khole ya dina o dirile phoso o bo lebella Oluga Magonono le ene o santsana le mosha re ka dumela go Magonono gore it's still acceptable o sa le go development but ke phoso e dirwa ke mang le mang.
But then we move on. Our last game then we had Amakosi, the black and gold of Kaizer Chiefs, taking on the School of Excellence. It was nearly at the fullest of capacities that we had in the GDL yesterday, the Forster Stadium for that last game. 2-1, guys.
Go botlhokwa gore o nne le the core of the club ha o tshameka ntse like Kaizer Chiefs o gopole sentle last year ne ba tsamaka Caleb Kruger ko under 13 ne ba tsamaka ene Bamji ko under 13 Moloisane under 13 Selelo Moloisi ko under 13 inganathi una tsameka last season o tsamekile maloba le ne mo bobekeng e tswa mo ka jalo ha o keepa the core of the team ke temo gona go bona teng ka gonne maitemego la bona a bonala so salabo tsa fitso gore di team tse ya ka ba le kwana 13 a ba tlhatlogana gore go na le movement go tsa gona movement so re bone ba bane gore Kaizer Chiefs ba gona gore ha o tswa kwana 13 ntse like o ya kwana 15 ha o tswa kwana 15 o ya ko under 17 like kholo e teng ka jalo ene bana ba le teng botlhe coach Mohamed Bamji na le teng o na le teng Jimmy Jambo o na le teng le tsholonyana na le teng ka jalo go a bontsha gore David Matholo na le teng so ba bontsha gore tirisano mo go bana le ntse like ka gona Chiefs wa itse gore ha ba tshameka botlhe ba nna teng ka jalo we saw the leadership ko bankeng gore ba tshameka sentle mme re bone ba bane ya ka bana ba gape ke bona ke ena ntwana ga go ntwana ingena thisa le mo ba tla go ra go ding
ufuna ukushaya igoli ngena but esibuyela lapha na kumloyisi untswembu kakhulu bafethu untswembu kakhulu but into engifuna ukukhuluma ngayo intwana School of Excellence ebivimbile
Ayivimbili.
And mayisho ifike term 3 ku School of Excellence ifika manje intwana sekahle hong uramuhle intwana sekahle hong ifika manje ku School of Excellence ifika siyakwazi ukuvimba kanjeni le ntwana nibhekeni bafethu ngekudala hey kune team ethathayo.
Sticking with the School of Excellence, we caught up with the losing coach Kali Masimanyane after the game. Here's his post-match thoughts.
I'm Masimanyane Kali, under 15 coach of Transnet School of Excellence. My thoughts on the game, I thought we played well overall. I think the first 10-15 minutes were very difficult for us, but because we were not playing our game, every time we got the ball, we wanted to just play it forward to Beast, and it really wasn't working, so we were just having a lot of turnovers. But I think once we settled and we started passing each other the ball and playing with more of a composed attitude, I think we started to do well. And we also wanted to press them high to not allow them to build, and we were forcing them long, and we were able to deal with the long balls because our defenders were winning it, or it was overhit, or it goes out of play. So it was not giving us much problem. So we managed that well until the end of the first half. I think second half carried on the same way where we left off first half. And then I think some of they made changes. They went to 3 at the back, and their full back was number 2 was giving us a lot of problems on the right, on our left side, their right. That's why we moved our right winger to go play there so that he can try and match that pace there as well. So yeah, but in the end it wasn't to be. Overall, I think the boys played very well. We played good football and we competed very well. And I also think Chiefs also they did very well, and yeah.
So he says they were a bit one-dimensional in the sense that they were going for Beast, the youngster that beat Mamelodi Sundowns. Well, that he scored 2 goals, but he says that was their reference point. They kept sending the balls to him. Was that the right way to go about it?
Ngicabanga ukuthi ibhola labo kanjalo School of Excellence fike sidlayelana bese lithumela uBeast and then uBeast ukora kanjalo ushilo nami sine WhatsApp number yami ke manje yangitext ngizokora 2 goals ngizokora 2 goals yeah ngicabanga ukuthi indlela abadlala ngayo vele kodwa enye into esibonile ngaphandle kwaBeast School of Excellence silinyalelwe yiplayer but bese singenawo amasap so kade sebedlala beshota already so amabhola ikhe bese ngasafiki lapha na kuBeast but indlela abadlala ngayo njalo futhi mawabhiyana game eMamelo Sundowns kuthiwa qha malithi Beast ushinet hambe kuyojive khoneni
ngabale ku School of Excellence next season Oscar.
Yeah, no. Speaking of Ukjaiva Ekoneni, the dancing in the corner wasn't only happening in Gauteng then. You know, that football on 216, it's about every pocket of football in the country. And so we saw the COWIE Cup wrap up out in KZN, Maritzburg College. They danced in the corner, 2-0 against Port Shepstone, beating them in the final of that competition. Maritzburg College actually beating the defending champions in that particular final. Now, what was actually nice about this was the fact that Maritzburg in 2023 hadn't won this COWIE Cup. They'd won 3 trophies. They won KZN Inland, they won the Midlands FA, and they won the Primo Cup. So to be able to add the COWIE Cup into their trophy cabinets, I'm sure they were very proud of it. So Football on 216 once again wants to send a big congratulations to Maritzburg College and the goal scorers. These brilliant goals coming through from Maziti Kasho and Pilasande Kuzwayo there yesterday. So that wraps up our preview and review section. Coaches Corner is absolutely packed. A full starting complement of coaches. Update.
Swendlekile usho kanjalo uLebza iphelile umdlalo ngiphethe isitaba fethu Sefosloras ngiphethe intwana Sefosloras sontwana uGrand Ntwana yami unangaki this year ntwana ungenile washintsha igame washaya inet kwenzakalani
Coach trainees and ngina 14.
Una 14 awungitshela ntwana yami abanye bathi le yabhola ubuthi uyal square ubushaya vele ububona ucabanga ukuthi izongena
Bengidlala naye ngimshaya uyazi.
Yamshaya yakena so ubuya kuSundowns ntwana yami ubudlala kuSundowns last year but here kasi ubudlala kuphi
Upure Star.
manje ufuna ukuyibona kuphi ntwana West Junior kuma ngiyazi sesemncane but ufuna uyibona kuphi ngedisk lakho
Ufuna ukudlala ku-PSG.
ufuna ukudlala ku-PSG uba igama lakho nickname
Dokotela.
Uyizele ke nawe udokotela ufuna ukudlala ku-PSG shaya igole elihle kakhulu ngiyathemba uzolibona kule show lena Swendlekile Lebza danka
Sathatha Sefo wala kahla Sathatha Sefo wala kahla
Coach's Corner on Football on 216, and I really love myself a Coach's Corner that just has coaches. That's what we've got here today. One at the top of the table and then one at the bottom. We've got Selekedi Mokhale of Mamelodi Sundowns. He's also coached the under-15 provincial team for Gauteng, and Mr. Letwaba Moloto of Northwest University VAAL. Tagged up with Coscarinho, full coaches, but Cosca says he's happy to stick with his right back role. Is it left back or right back, Magalapo?
No. I'm diverse, my man. Diversity.
Okay.
But for now, I'm coaching the coaches.
Guys, good evening. Coach Mokhale and Coach Moloto.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. No, perhaps we could start with just an introduction of who Coach Mokhale is. You could also introduce yourself, Coach, before we get into the questions. We ask hard questions here, so so perhaps we should know who you are before we ambush you. We'll start with you, Coach.
My name is Coach Selekedi Mokhale. I'm the under-15 Mamelodi Sundowns Academy coach.
How did you come to be involved with Sundowns?
Well, it's been a love affair for over many years. In fact, I came across Sundowns Academy in 2009 whilst I was still at Tax. And I saw they were setting it up, they were bringing in coaches, and they'd asked to use some space at Tax and before our training. So as we were having a look and then you got interested, you're like, hey, this looks very, very interesting. And then ever since, it's been a dream of mine to be a part of the club. And to finally achieve it in 2021, it was truly amazing. But in between, no one tells you about the difficulties in between of working in LFAs, regionals, and you really paid your school fees in between. So for me to be here, it's been 17 years of hard work, attending coaching courses, seminars and everything. So it's very good to be a part of this family.
Yeah, and then Coach Letwaba?
Coach Rimoloto is the under-15 coach for Northwest University Academy. And I've been the coach there when we started the project 2023 last year when we were GDPL. And we're promoted. Our first year, we worked out well, and we're promoted to GDL. Yes, we are playing now in GDL. Yeah. And the journey has been great because as a coach, you learn, you grow, you learn a lot. And as coach said, I had opportunity of attending courses, through the league, and from the courses you get more exposure, more experience, and how to implement it in the game. And that's why I'm here. I do love coaching, especially in the development. And yeah.
Okay, you guys are sitting pretty close to each other, but we know that in terms of the log, you are far from one another. Coach Mokhale, what have you done right?
The fundamentals. I think we've been breaking it down to the fundamentals. I mean, some coaches are shocked that we've only played 11v11 about 6 times this season, focusing on passing 20 minutes per session, making sure the technique is right, players understanding 1v1, 2v1, attack, defense, what is transition, what is progression. It has not been the season where I'm going to say, hey, tactically, group tactics, we've been very, very outstanding. No, coaching the individuals and really, really getting the kids to understand how to play the game, how to train, how to perform, and how to be consistent.
Coach, I like the fact that you're mentioning the principles of play when you're talking about transition and progression. But now I'm interested in finding out this from a viewer at home, maybe just to get them closer to what we are dealing with within the academy setup. When you speak of such principles, how can you relate them from the under 13 level to the under 17 level? Because most definitely they're not the same. So how can you say that the difference is between maybe you as an under 15 coach, but I know that you have coached within the across all divisions, but how can you differentiate between getting 11v11 under 13 boy to 11v11 under 19 boy? What's the difference tactically?
Well, let's start off with under 13, where we've got Coach Nobela, who lays down the foundation. So these kids, they all come with some sort of talent. Physiologically, the times are different between the various divisions. But it doesn't mean that we don't start laying down the foundation of technique. And then from there, it's the purpose of the technique, the whys, the hows. And then as they grow up into the next age group, we add on to that. What can you do more? Because ultimately, even when you go from under 17 is 90 minutes, and a World Cup final is 90 minutes. What is the difference? It's the volume of actions. So we're building these kids up to have those volume of actions, but not to rush them too soon, otherwise you'll break them. And not to do something that is too far ahead of their level. So you gradually, you push them, you set the bar high, you train, and you understand there's going to be setbacks. Sometimes when you look at the game, the application is not there, but you can see the idea, and then you get happy. And when it does come forth in years to come, you can actually say this started when he was 9 or 10 or so forth. If you look at right now, we've got a player, Malibongwe Koza, in the first team. He started in the Sunday program. Now at 9 or 10, and now he's about 20, 21, 22, and he's there. So that means it's all those years that have progressed them to get to that stage.
That's fascinating. Coach, I want to come to you now. In football, I've been in the game for some time now, but I've also realized that the difficulties that we encounter in football do not define us. But what have you learned thus far from being promoted first season in the GDPL and then getting promotion to the GDL? What are the differences?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, GDPL, as you saw, we tended to cruise. We were cruising.
The smooth sailing.
Yeah, then comes GDL now.
Yeah.
Then a whole different ball game. Because there it's different teams with different backgrounds. That's not the same. And that's where you learn that the physique of the player, mentally, and physique and the play comes into part. That how do you play in the GDL?
The tactics.
It's different from GDPL. And that was the lot of difference that we had to come in and say, now we are no longer playing GDPL, we are playing GDL now with teams that are strong and the players are strong. We saw when we were playing with them, the first games, the results will tell you that we struggled when we started because we were not yet there being competitive with the other players, with the other teams based on what they have, what you don't have. Then we went back and said, guys, we must start putting more effort if you want to at least compete with these teams that have been in the GDL, because it's our new term now in the GDL. Yes, we struggled, and when we came to the second round, if you can check the second round and the first round of our team, even though the results were coming slow, but there was a huge difference that you can see that our players were starting to be more matured, that they forgot about GDPL. It's GDL now. It's tough.
So they're now waking up.
Yeah, they're waking up now. You have to be strong mentally, physically, and come to practice. Because one of the things is that was a challenge for us is where we are based is far outside from the setup of where players comes. Therefore, transport-wise coming, those are the battles that we're struggling with. But slowly in terms, we are coming into play. Therefore, that's why you can even see the last game we played, I think it's the last week game, where we played Rosina. For me, it really showed that Northwest can give something into this GDL, because we took out 10 points, of which that was a great feeling for us, that we took out
10
points at home, and the boys gave it our all. That's why I keep on, I even told our coaches that, you know what, there's a light here. There's a light. It's not over for us. We can stay as long as we stay strong as a team mentally with players and we come into practice. And then what we do on the practice, we put it in the field. Therefore, that's why I say there's a light for us. We can survive this if we are the familiars Northwest University come together.
Coach Mokhale, you had such a good run in the league for so long. It was just a little bit over 2 weeks now where you lost your first game. Chat to us about that.
Well, that is a game, that is a very, very interesting game that we lost for School of Excellence, because we did a lot of good things in the game. I mean, the box entries, I think Coach Costa even touched it last week, that School of Excellence went up 4 times into our box. 2 were cleared by the goalkeeper and 2 were headers. School of Excellence doesn't normally score with headers, but if you look at the opportunities we missed, and there was a disallowed goal. So we've been doing a lot of good things to make the boys understand their individual roles, their tasks in the game, the team roles. And for that loss, one can say it's the wake-up call we needed, maybe just to not to be complacent, because it's been very interesting. Since we've started this term again, we've scored 2 set pieces in the last 2 games, 3 set pieces actually, kick-off, a corner. And even if you look at yesterday's game, if you break it down further, a defender scored, a midfield scored, and 2 strikers scored. So you have to look at the game a little bit more broad. We all contribute to the result, including goalkeeper. Yes, goalkeeper made a mistake yesterday, but how many times has he saved us in other games where it was a 1-0? How many times has he kept us in the game? So a coach can accept that these are the learning curves, and you always set the bar high. I tell my players that, look, it's not about winning the league. It's about doing your best to go further, to be an international, to represent the country, to wear the colors of MAMELODI SUNDOWNS in the first team. Because we win this league, you sleep 31st of December, happy, next day, everything is back on the table again. There's no under 15 legends. There's professional legends and masters. So we focus on that this is a long-term thing, but are you consistent for the long term? So it was very good to see the boys react the way that they reacted, and then to come back and then to bounce back and win 4-1. I mean, for them, you don't celebrate too long at the club. It's just a result. You move it to the side, on to the next one.
That's a good one, Coach. And I think I can also attribute this to you, Coach, because remember, in this game, we are in it for developing these youngsters to get the better out of them and to also make them realize that they have something within them that they can unleash. So my question now to you, Coach, comes where now we deal with boardroom matters. Like everyone can see that NWU is struggling. Under 15 is on the bottom of the log. Under 17 is sitting 17th. Under 15s are on the bottom of the log. Under 19s are also struggling. So I want to understand as to why is such a big institution. And by the way, I did many months ago, I did my D license there at NWU. So they have top facilities when at Tandom Kia. But I'm concerned as a VAAL citizen. I'm very, very concerned, Coach, to understand as to what is happening within the NWU.
You know, as a coach, boardroom matters, they don't have to affect you, but somehow they get into you. But there are people who are dealing with it. But it's a matter that we've addressed, that we need to sort out whatever that's giving us problems so that we be a one unit. As I said, the last season, GDPL, if you can see the result, we're smoothing. Things were smooth. You could see that everyone was together. It was one family. But you can see this season, you know, we are not comfortable, you know. But there are people who are dealing with the boardroom matters, and honestly, yeah, we are getting there. Meetings will be held with the boardroom to sort out whatever that's causing us the performance of the team. And we've already, as coaches, talking to players that, you know what, let's focus on the field of play. Whatever's happening, it's a boardroom thing. For us, it's us to get in points and be safe here, because it's important for us, as you say, you know, in VAAL, having this team, it's very vital, because if we can lose this team from GDPL or GDL, Therefore, where would a black child in the VAAL go to? Because as coach mentions, playing football is not about playing football. It's about the future. I always tell them when I coach them that every game is important because you don't know who's watching. You might say, no, we are playing East End, I'll not give it my all. But you don't know who's watching. It's not about us winning, being number one. It's about you guys. And us partnering with us being Northwestern is also important, especially for the under-19s, because some of them are doing matric. Where will they go after that? Academically, they'll be supported by the university. Therefore, that one of boardroom is still, we are engaging on it that at the end of the season or before the end of the season, we are one team. Then either we stay on GDL or either we go back on GDPL. You'll see a different Northwestern University.
But I like it because they're performing in the Varsity Cup. So,
Yeah.
So hope is there.
But what I like then about having you, Coach Mokale, is the fact that you've coached the Gauteng team then. We know that football on 216 is not just about the GDL, it's about all of Gauteng. What's the talent looking like in the Gauteng region as a whole, excluding some of the players that you coach? What are the other boys looking like?
They're looking good. I think the prospects are good. We really need more coaches to really focus on the fundamentals of our players, because I think as coaches, especially young coaches, I'll include all of us, we tend to rush things. We tend to try to entertain players with sessions. No, they get bored. But these kids from grade 1, they're doing ABCs and maths and 1, 2, 3, till matric, till varsity. You get bored of repeating a passing exercise up until he masters it. This is where the problem comes, because that's why we're getting undercooked products. The talent is there, it's God-given. Us as coaches, we cannot take out of a child what God hasn't put in, as the late coach James would say. So we as coaches, we need to be professional, dedicated, and put in the time with our players so that we get them to be the best that they can be across Gauteng. And I'm happy that even sports education is coming back in schools, which has been a missing part physically, because now we're getting a lot of weaker boys, core muscles, they're not climbing trees, they're not running, balance coordination. So all those things are coming back, which also invest into football, because we talk of 10,000 hours. It's not 10,000 hours isolated. It's activity all the way around, informally and formally. So across Gauteng, we've got good prospects. We can talk of under 14s, under 15s, but we need people who are going to really, really work and stay true to the cause.
Coach, I like the fact that you are elaborating more on school sports. I was also going to touch on that because it's affecting the country big time. And now we see the reintroduction of that. I think maybe my question would come to the parents' involvement. How are the parents involved, Coach, on your side? And maybe, Coach, you can also elaborate further after the coach has said.
Coach is laughing. You wants this one. Take it, SLK. Take it first.
Look,
Get to
we are, you know, I remember telling my boys saying that I'm so grateful that they must actually thank their parents as well for the parents giving us the best job in the world to coach their kids. Because a lot of parents would love to be there for their kids, you know, especially from disadvantaged background. We get to see these kids play every day. We get to coach them. And that's time we step in as step parents or the other parents. So now, obviously, you do get parents that are more present, that are more sorted economically, financially, that are there to support their kids every day. And the parental involvement is also educating them as well, that this is a process. Football is also a school. It has different stages, because as much as it looks like we're playing on one field, you are going through different things. I mean, you can't say because I go to high school, I'm in grade 8, you give me a matric paper. You need to prepare me all those years. So that's what we are doing. So we know some parents, hey, my child is not playing this and this, but we do our best to educate what is the process, because it doesn't finish at under 13. We want the end product after they've gone through the whole system. So we are doing our best to educate parents. We've got a good team around us, especially at the res. We've got academy leadership. We've got our manager who's strong and our colleagues. And we're very grateful for how the parents interact with us. And we're very fortunate, actually.
Coach Muloto?
Yeah, you know, parents' involvement, it's very vital, especially in our soccer, especially the black child soccer sports, you know, because I'll make an example. When I grew up, when we went to soccer, your parent will be happy saying, no, you went out, you come late, doesn't ask you. But now it's very volatile. You could see a child when his parent is there playing soccer. He wants to play, like to show mom, dad that I can play this. And at Northwest, we also have a parents committee and we have a parents group where we send upcoming games, all those things. Therefore, because we want, for me, I want us to be like all the teams in South Africa, football teams or GDL teams, that we've been in a situation that if you've seen rugby when he plays, it's like it's a cup final, you know. Parents are there. We want to see that point when every time we play GDL games, when you look, the stadium is full with parents. Therefore, that will motivate the kids. As coach says, that parents need to be there, you know. It's a process. Therefore, that's what also at Northwest we engage, that parents need to be there, come to the games, contribute, you know, so that tomorrow, when your child is up there being taken by bigger teams or Sundowns, you know, you also said, I played a part. Don't sit at home and say, no, what's happening? I was watching.
In the super sports schools.
Yeah.
But coach, look, you get a sense that when parents are there, I've witnessed that, and parents would get involved. No, pass up all, pass up. Why? How do you guys deal with that?
Yeah, you know, when you talk about that, I like what Sundowns has done with the parents. If you go into Sundowns games and you see their parents, you know, they're well disciplined. You know, they sit far away from.
Don't you think maybe it's the feature of the teams that they
no.
Once you get involved?
No, it's not. It's not. I think they went through what we are experiencing. That you have those parents that come to the touchline, want to coach, and we come. Other coaches come. No, go and sit far. It's our job. Yeah. Let the coaches do their job. Sit there. Then we are getting there also with us that we want to tell our parents, if you are at the game, sit there, watch your kid. Yeah, you can shout there when they play, yeah, you know, clap, but don't interfere with
tactics.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's a wrong path.
No, let's just go one more big question. Let's think international, guys now. We know that the Under-17 World Cup now is going to happen every single year. You guys sit at a very prime position, I'd like to think. As an Under-15 coach, you're sort of in the middle in terms of building those boys, SLK. What's the vision, and how important is this division going to be with that World Cup that's going to be happening every year now?
Well, it's the last step, actually, in that preparation, because if you need to count it almost 2 years back, because the intake of Under-17s is usually Under-15s. So if it's happening every 2 years, it means the Under-14 GDL is going to be more critical, the Under-13 GDL is going to be more critical, and the pre-academy stage is going to be very critical, especially at Sundowns, where we've got FAB teams, we've got Under-11 and Under-13. Those processes and foundations are going to be critical for the success of the national team. So once they get to Coach Novella, they go through and they leave him, they go to Under-14, they must be prepared, already being exposed to competition, to traveling, to different environments, and then they come through Under-15, and then we prepare them for the international stage so that they don't suffer, they don't choke, they know their strength, they know what they are good at. So everything Under-15 down is going to be important. It's not just Under-15, because that's the final stage. By the time you're playing Under-15, we should be looking, are you ready to go represent the country and do it at your best? So everything below Under-15 is going to be very critical in the next coming years.
But now, Coach Moloto, do some of the guys have ambitions to make the national team?
Yeah, because Under-15 for me, it's a crucial point for a player. Because at Under-15, you're going to tend to Under-17, therefore. That's why a player at that time, because most of them, we introduce them at Under-17, slowly. Therefore, at Under-15, for me, it's crucial that the player must be ready. And again, the development, as coach said, like as other coach said, that now we're starting to see school sports coming back, you know, and also all the teams and even maybe our body could motivate that from now on, teams must start with Under-9s, as Sundowns has started and other teams have started, so that we have that build-up. Because for some of the team like us, we struggle like now, Under-13 for next year. It's quite difficult that if you don't have the Under-9s, you start looking for players, then now you have to register players. You don't have players then. But if you have a grassroots level Under-9s, it makes easy for you that, okay, under 13, I already have the under 13 prepared, and you introduce the older ones beforehand as the league goes on. Therefore, when next year you have our under 13, it will be a nice progression that already from under 9 and under 10s, under 12s, you already have a grassroots, rather than going outside chasing players, looking for players, calling trials, because calling trials is not that you're going to get good players. There are players that can impress you for that 20 minutes in the trials. When you come and play, what's happening now? But if you have a grassroots, you go and go and check, oh, he's good there. Take him up a little bit. Then when next year comes under 13, therefore it'll be a nice progression. When you get under 15, you don't have a problem anymore. As we also complain that at the moment we are struggling with players that can pass and receive. But at that time, if you have a good grassroots, it's easy for you for the progression to under 17. Therefore, under 15 and bottom it's very crucial. You have to start from the bottom, and we see overseas there. Under 9s, under 10. That's why lately internationally you see an under 15 or under 16 playing in the Premier League, and that's what I would like us in South Africa to see, that if a player is good under 15, 16, why not introduce him to the Premier League? Because we still have that tendency that but if it's happening and if the player is good, why not?
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Coach, let's go one more remark. Question, remark, whatever.
I like the fact that you are mentioning the progression within divisions, Coach. And I also like what Coach SLK has elaborated on in terms of getting players ready and in the right sense for them to be ready. But now, I'd like to find out from both of you, coaches, that what can we look out for in the next round of games, because we've come from a festival now. Now it's going to be the same set of games, so we're still running these festivals as they're going. But what can we look out for? What difference is it going to make on the NWU side? What improvements are we expecting in the next coming season? Are you guys ready to recruit, or are you, something like that?
Yeah, like as I said, for us now, it's a matter of do or die. Therefore, we need to work hard. Like as we were talking off camera, that the teams above us, they're not far from us. Therefore, it's for us to make it happen. As the coaches, the parents, the players, that we win the remaining games, we are safe. Therefore, it needs hard work also. You cannot say it now by saying now, but we need to work hard. Therefore, for us is to work hard, to win the last remaining games, we stay. Okay, if it doesn't happen, we stay, we regroup next year. Like I say, we are fixing our house. Therefore, I promise VAAL viewers out there that, okay, we survive or we go to GDPL, we're going to come strong. Promise you next year, Northwest is going to come strong. Therefore, we're going to see a different Northwest. But for now, we are concentrating for the last game to win all the games that we are remaining.
Yeah, let's get better numbers, because the numbers don't defensive vulnerabilities. There's something else, eh?
Now it's the one we are going for, that the last games we need to win them so that we stay in the GDL.
That's okay.
Well, from our side, I'd actually like to thank the Motsepe family, the club management. We've been the most stable academy in South Africa. I don't think you guys have heard Sundowns shutting down because of age cheating. And even the way that things are running at Sundowns, it's incredible. It's of another level. Training investment is not lost. The boys are retained. And before we can think of the 3 points, we think of the steps that take us to 3 points. Box entries, goals, defense, all the football things. If you focus on those things game by game, the results will come. It's not like we say, go win. I mean, when you play against coaches and you beat them and they say, hey, coach, we're developing. So developing can only draw and lose. What about the winning principle? You need to go put that in. So, and I'm thankful, academy leadership, staff, my colleagues, the players even, they've been fantastic, because we really put them through a lot. I mean, our players are going to be playing about 60 games at academy level. School sports, school games, club games, all these other competitions. So, and this all takes support. And without the club, I think none of this would be possible. So you really have to give props to when people are really uplifting the game in South Africa and the continent, mind you, and the continent. So we still expect more from these boys. not just to help the club, but to really, really go out and help the country.
Yeah, Tando, I had a chat with him offset and we were discussing the previous game and coach just ran me through what happened because you won 4-1, but it felt like it's not enough.
I gave my friend a discount.
I'm shying at discount, coach.
No, look, it was a good game, and funny enough, Coach Leaf and I we spoke, and I said to him, "What do you want out of the game?" And it's awkward to ask another coach that. What do you want out of the game? But I said to him, "Look, don't waste the opportunity and say you want the result of a low block. Why don't you rather give your players the opportunity?" Let them go 1v1 with our boys. Let them see if they can take them in attack and defense so they benefit more. I mean, can you imagine what happened at PSG with Messi, Neymar, Mbappe? You're training with these guys. They're not your opponents, but the value you get from training with them every day. So I said to him, if you want your players to grow, go at us. Because this is a long journey. The things you will produce after this will be incredible. So it's not that Sundowns is not going to, we are going to lose and we have lost. But if you, every day you're sharpening your iron versus iron, you get better as a player. And in the end, I can do this. These guys are my peers. And yes, some of them are more talented, they'll go up. Some of them, you don't know in future if that's the guy Sundowns buys in 5 years' time. But he's paid his school fees, he's learned his lessons, and he's done his best. So we mustn't be conservative and think about us, but the kids and their experience. Don't take the experience away from them.
On that note, it's about the kids, like Coach SLK says. It's about development football, and that we are here to do. We'll keep developing them for the future generations. Coaches, thank you so much for your time this evening. I think you've really given us the insight that we want here at Supersport Schools. We wish you all the best with your remaining games for the season. And perhaps we'll have SLK again, perhaps with the title this time here on the table. But stay with us here on Football on 216. I'll bring back my full panel after this. Before that, do catch exciting new partnership between Supersport Schools and SA20. I have a bit of a small ball in my hand at the moment. Feel a bit like AB de Villiers. Lalela. Catch the SAT20 where we unpack the next AB de Villiers. But let me bring back Uspiso and Lebza and ask them if they know who AB de Villiers is.
Football on 216 shrendlekile mawumnandi ngihlala ngikuphathele ezimnandi kakhulu sesiyawuvala umdlalo khona la eFostora Stadium bonke phethe bani uKatlego Grand mfethu uphuma va mfethu ngoba ngiyakubona uyavimba
Kitwa Katlego.
khona yi ubudlala va before school afixele
Ekatlong Brothers.
Katlego Brothers mfethu so no awukwazi wadlala phakathi ucala ugoalkeeper because ngiyazi ubura wafika ezochayela phakathi bamfaka emapalini nawe benze kanjalo ukhe wadlala phakathi manje ubuhlala ugoalkeeper
Since ngifike la goalkeeper.
ufike nini
This year, temporary.
this year ntona yami mnandi so athina ama plans ufuna ukuyibona va ngedisk lakho nje
Angifuni ukuzibona in first place I want to see myself playing for national team.
yeah
After national team,
Yeah.
I want to achieve my goal to go overseas.
ntona yami mnandi manje bakuthola kanjani kuma socials and everywhere
Instagram khona, Facebook khona. Instagram igama lami Katlego Ramutla, then Instagram Katlego Ramutla futhi.
yeah uyizwele ke nawe entwana emnandi futhi usazobona ama highlight ngiyacabanga usiwabonile amanye namanye usazowabona indlela esave ngayo isavile School of Excellence shwendlekile football on 216 dako Satati Sefo wala kahla Satati Sefo wala kahla.
So welcome back to it. We've had our coaches in Coaches Corner really chatting everything in the 15 development football, some of the best coaches in the land, some of the coaches that are going to come up and be the best in the land. Guys, how did you find that discussion?
Ntsala ke wa itse re mo go nna le jalo batho ba botlhale bana ba botlhale ba botlhabatsatsi ntsala ke ha ba bua mole but they get carried away ha o tlile gore ba re nna go tsedi ka jalo botlhale ba banna ba le bonile monate bona thando ba gone ba itse go la dina no doubt ra itse ene gape ke ratile o kgalemetse SLK gore mmite sentle monna ke a tsela gore banka ke dinela gagwe o kgalemetse monna ke sekeledi nna ke se lekedi SLK ka jalo ke akanya gore tlo go bankanya ntsala ke before mo nna kwatile monna.
Speaking of SLK, Swiso, should he coach the under-15 national team? We've spoken about it. He's coach of that under-15 Gauteng side.
Yeah.
is a better candidate.
Ngiyacabanga ukwakhuluma ukuthi kanjena ithuba maselifikile lifikile kuyena. Mina ngicabanga ukuthi ithuba lakhe because bawinile ngesikhathi ebacoacha kuleyana kuma schools labo beseyowenza lawana bawina. So ngicabanga ukuthi ichance yakhe. Enye into NWU VAAL sitholile mabekhuluma ukuthi kahle kahle ukudliwa kwabo kungenzi kahle kwabo kunenkinga elapha neboardroom inkinga zakhona lapha so i-affecta nezintwana. Enye into esiyitholile le into sayisakhuluma ngayo ku School of Excellence futhi.
Akizi gore NWU ba tlo ira yang gore ba tsosolosa motshameko wa bona ka gore go thata go GDL go na le batshameki ba bantsi ba re ba biditseng fa play engwe le nngwe e tlang fa ya bua gore go thata go GDL akizi gore ba tla etsa yang a re ska bona gore ba tlo re okopela e ba bua ba e nne yo team mme fela ke tsapa gore ba tla kgona go pagamisa yo team ba bitsa motshameko wa bona mare fela SLK ene nkarialo ke re he's cruising nicely gore o go di go stlhoeng kwa ga gona letsapa le mofisang pelo mare ya no ga o thoma ntse o sa latlhegelwe ke metshameko ke nagana gore pressure is building up as well gore o na le your own record to beat so ke nagana gore o tla tsama a dire fela jalo SLK.
So in terms of us and the league then and the weekend, we stick with the festivals and we go with one of the most exciting age groups then, the youngest but have the biggest hearts and sometimes play the best football on the day. The Under 13 Festival comes to your screens this weekend. The venue is still to be confirmed. We're hearing talks, perhaps it's going to head somewhere in Pretoria. Stick out and watch our social media platforms to confirm where exactly it will be. But guys, that's going to be exciting. Under 13 Festival, it's 5 games, Fiso, not 6. And get to 20 confirmation.
Izomnandi kakhulu mfethu lento bengisho Amanda 13 mawubheka makudlala yiwo manje aseperforma kahle kakhulu Amanda 13 so lezi ntwana lezi kuyajabulisa ukuyibona zidlala futhi ngathi bengayifaka nje e-stadium lesesikhulu because wabona ngesikhathi idlala lapha eLucas Masterpiece Moripe Stadium wabona le ntwana zazenzani Amanda 13 so silindele lo mdlalo leyo.
Yeah, let's get into some of the games. We haven't seen Jomo Cosmos yet in the league. We haven't brought them as a fixture. They play against Rosina in the first game, Ora.
Jomo Cosmos a gidile ka go bua gore le yone Jomo Cosmos man ga ya ema sentle ga o lebella mo legeng ya rona ya Gauteng Development League ke stoppa se leng gore wa itse re ga se tlase fela go kopanya dintlha tsotlhe Jomo Cosmos ke bala le bo Northwest Valley go tlase kwa mara Rosina Sedibane ke tsapa ba tlotsa ka motshameko
those are preliminary results. And then Wits versus Supersport United. So your favorite Wits juniors now.
Okay, so Supersport United bafethi yashisa. Supersport United yashisa. So ngicabanga ukuthi iye engawina lo mdlalo eSupersport United kaKarabo.
Khona boqina lapha ya khona bobukabuki
khona bothepile manga
bigwamanje
sekadlala ama 15 manje did you guys see because they introduced a couple of the under 13s the United. Denzel Morane came on yesterday. Dikhwamaje came on.
I don't know. No Mason bese benchini naye.
No Mason bese benchini. Yeah. Let's look at the next game, Tax versus TS Galaxy Lebu.
Hey, ntsala ke ha o bua ka Tax re buile ra re maitemogela ba tleng kana from the Netherlands re tlo go a bona. Khwele ba ineletsana sentle ba ipueletsa gape Tax le yone TS Galaxy re tlo bona montle fela under 13 every time ba go tshameka se fitso tlhokomele under 13 ke bona di crowd pullers. Batsadi ba tla ka bontsi go tlo go tlala tswede because ano ra go tshameka under 13 fela for 5 games. Gantsi ha re tshameka metshameko le mene ke under 13 15 ba fokotsega batho mara bo mme ba go tla ka bontsi ko under 13 ka gona ba itse gore makawana la dlala ntsalake.
Yeah. The next one, Chiefs versus Risa. Before I get to the game, are we going to need to interview Xolani again? Because it seems every game where Risa plays, he wants you to interview him. So we're going to need to interview Xolani again.
Aratane bo bitshameko ngthando Kaizer Chiefs le Resa. Wa bona gore Chiefs e mo leaking ya tele bo go tla re tsa bo Selekedi bo Novela le bo Bamji le bo TS Galaxy re ba letse leaking ya na bone go ba le gore ke tlhopha tse di popota tse a ke bone Resa under 13 tla tsa mapila go Chiefs.
But remember, I want to remind you now, remember last year over the 2 legs Risa played to goalless draws against Chiefs. They were actually the only team to take points of Kaizer Chiefs, one of the only teams.
Yeah, Resa Amanda 13 I think ayeza so ngaba i-draw futhi lo mdlalo enye into lebza ungakhohlwa ukuthi TS Galaxy le shaya iKaizer Chiefs.
Hey
Kunomshini wasethokoza.
Aw blind
so asazi ke manje uthini ke manje UP Tax or TS Galaxy.
Hayi
Let's look at the last game then.
Yeah.
Lunga Nobela lost one game this season. It was against Panorama. He meets them again in the main act on Sunday.
Oh, asazi ke lapho ukuthi kuzenza kanjani because iPanorama inento yokuthi mayidlala ekhaya like home ePanorama iyakwazi ukudefend, iyakwazi ukudlala kahle kakhulu but mayidlala away. So uLunga Nobela ngibona ngathi uzobuyisela induku kuleyo game leyo uzowina.
Enolile Lunga Nobela ka low block e ba tshameka Panorama. Ha gone go ba phunya Panorama and they've got a game plan and like ba go ema go morago one mistake ba romela go pele. So nna la coach Nobela gore ha itsura ka ba khona because remember match wa Sundowns Super Sport and like yana ba tsa khone go penalty da mo gare ga mpa le bana. So he had to go wide in Lunga Nobela. So a re itse gore ka Panorama aba go ya go matlhakoreng khotsa go tsenela mo gare mare ba itse Panorama ntsa like they always have a game plan. Ba go dula go morago low block how dira poso ba romela go pele bana. So ka jalo go to go nna thata for coach Lunga Nobela. This coming Sunday.
But real local Panorama, I get their style of play go they absorb and then they punish.
Makes sense.
And then last time Lunga ale ko Panorama.
Yeah.
Ba tsamiki ba gagwe na ba tlhaela na ba tsore ke mofikela. Ne gona mofikela ko Clepem so na itle ka ba tsamiki ba ileng gore ga se ba bantsi ba ile gore ba tsame. Me a re bona a kere ya ko Pitori maybe o tla ka planning.
Ulunga Nobele mo wa hlumile chaka. Hey, walisiba.
Hey,
bafethu kahle.
Low block. Low block marintwana.
Yes, then hlumile chaka. Amapasayo.
Yeah, no, hlumile chaka.
Hayi bafethu imali.
Bafethu, is there still a title race though going on in that under 13 division? Because you know Lunga has some games in hand, but is that division still open or has Bamji run away with it?
How level the calculations? Nna ke motho a dipalopalo. How level the calculations? Lunga Nobela go morago ka 2 games. Ha ka di gapa di le pedi wa go feta Kaizer Chiefs ka ntlha eno
Uzo indlula.
yes ka ntlha eno ka 1 point ha ka di gapa remember games in hand ha go le go gapile tsa like games in hand ke pressure because now o batla go dirang o batla go gapa ke so coach Lunga Nobela ha ka gapa those 2 games Chiefs tshwantse la tlhegelwe ha ba tswela pele go gapa ke bothata so na race I think sampane le teng tsa like Chiefs Sundowns Super Sport o ba level
yeah but man angitshele manini le line la ka Lebza manelisha Leli
Shwenteki exactly
let them load
okay no it's strong at nosh yeah so if you say hey hore pa woo strengthekile
thank you so much man no I just wanted to get that in my so strengthekile
it must have
umutlile mabane abitsa premium
yeah
nari
no guys, that's been it. Episode 17 of Football on 216 Inside Coach's Corner. It was very deep depth there. We've really ironed it out with Coach Litwaba Harry Moloto of Northwest University VAAL and Sekeledi Mukhale of Mamelodi Sundowns. Silly Kedi. Oh goodness, that K and that L get me all the time. Silly Kedi Mukhale under 15 Mamelodi Sundowns. But I bafetu Shwentekile. That's the show, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and until the next time, it's a Kati.
Satya Tsefo, what a